Yo, stop scrolling for 1 second. Last night you went to sleep around midnight, maybe 1 am, woke up at 7, 8 or maybe 9, hit the snooze button twice, drag yourself out of bed feeling like absolute trust even though you technically sleep 7 hours. Sound familiar? Because this is basically every single person watching this right now. And here's the wild part, that garbage feeling, that groggy, frog brained, why am I even alive feeling every single morning? Wrong, that's not because you sleep wrong, that's because you sleep at the wrong time. And the reason why goes back, way back, like 300,000 years back, to a time when humans didn't have phone, didn't have Netflix, didn't have alarm clocks, didn't even have a concept of bedtime. They just had the sun and their bodies were built around it. And here's the kicker, your body still is. You're just fighting it every single night. Alright, let's go way back. We're talking Stone Age, 300,000 years ago, East Africa. Picture this. It's not a neighborhood, not a city, not even a village. It's just wild. Open savanna. Predators everywhere. No roof over your head, no bed, no pillow, just you, your tribe, some animal skins on the ground, and the sky above is slowly going dark. The sun goes down, boom, that's it. That's I's bedtime. Not 11 pm, not after one more episode. The moment the sky turns dark, your body starts shutting down. Not because it chooses to, because your brain starts floating with melatonin the second it stops detecting sunlight. And your entire ancient nervous system goes, 8. We done for the day, time to go unconscious in the field full of lions. And you do it because that's how deep this programming goes. Because researchers at the University of Michigan actually studied 3 modern hunter-gatherer tribes, the Harsa in Tanzania, the San in Namibia, the Simani in Bolivia, tribe that still live without electricity today, and what they found was wild. Published in Current Biology 2015, these people go to sleep on average 3 hours after sunset. They wake up just before or right at sunrise. Total sleep, about 6 to 7 hours, not 9, not 10, not the 8 hours your wellness app is begging you to get. Around 6 to 7, and they wake up feeling completely fine. No alarm, no coffee, no essential dread. Now here's where it gets genuinely crazy. Because it's not just when they slept, it's how they slept. And this is the part that no one's talking about. Stone Age humans sleep in what scientists call a biphasic pattern. 2 chunks, not one long knockout like you try to do. First chunk, right after dark. They would sleep maybe 3 to 4 hours, deep hard sleep. Then, and this is the insane part, they would wake up around midnight for like an hour or two. Not because they had to pee, not because their phone buzzed. They would just wake up. And they would use that time treading the fire, checking on the kids, talking quietly with whoever else was awake. Some researchers even think this was when ancient humans did their deepest thinking, planning horns, solving problems, having spiritual experience. Then they drift back off after 3 to 4 hours until sunrise. Historian Roger Eckridge at Virginia Tech spent 16 years researching this. His book, At Day's Close, 19 Times Past, documented thousands of historical references to the exact first sleep and the second sleep pattern. Latest diaries, court records, medical books, all the way from ancient Rome to medieval Europe, all describing people naturally waking up in the middle of the night like it was totally normal. Because it was totally normal for like 99% of human story. And those sleep cycles, same as yours. Every 90 minutes, light sleep, deep sleep, REM. Your ancient ancestors were running those 4 to 5 cycles at night. Same brain, same architecture, same hardware, just different software, different timing. Now let's talk about where and how these people slept. Because this is also wild. They didn't sleep flat on the ground. And that's actually a myth. Archaeologists have found evidence going back to 200,000 years in South Africa at the Shoto Cave site that ancient humans deliberately built sleeping platforms. Layers of plant material, grasses, leaves, sometimes ash underneath to repel insects, slightly elevated off to the ground to avoid snakes, moisture bugs. They were picking the safest, most strategic spot in the camp, not too close to the fire, not too exposed to wind. They were engineering this sleep environment with zero tools and zero home depot, and they absolutely did not sleep alone. This may be the single biggest differences between Stone Age sleep and your 2 am doom scrolling solo season. Ancient humans sleep in groups always. Not just because it's too cozy, because it was survival strategy. You got a group of people, you got rotating live sleep, somebody's always just barely awake to enough to hear if something moves in the dark, natural alarm system. No subscription required. A 2017 study published in the Proceedings of Royal Society B actually confirmed this. Jerome Siegel and his team found modern hunter-gatherer societies, the same ones mimicking Stone Age conditions. Almost nobody sleep alone. Group sleeping wasn't just culture, it was biological insurance. Okay, now here's the parts that gonna be different. Because this is where it stops being ancient history and it starts being your story. For most of the human story, 290,000 out of those 300,000 years, people sleep with the sun, sunset to sunrise. Biphasic, natural. Look into a biological rhythm that took hundreds of thousands of years to build. Then an industrial revolution happened and everything got rigged. We are talking 1800s. Colonial era. Factory owners needed bodies in those factories, not just during daylight, all day. Structure shift, fixed hours, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if the sun didn't cooperate, guess what? You've got gas lamps now. You've got artificial light. You can literally force people to be awake on the schedule that has nothing to do with their biology. And so, for the first time, 300,000 years of human existence, sleep got scheduled by someone else for someone else's profit. Historian A. Roger Akerich literally documented this collapse of natural sleep in European industrial communities. The biphasic term, the midnight wake window that humans had maintained for hundreds of thousands of years, it disappeared with one or two generations of industrialization, replaced by the 8-hour monophasic block we consider normal today. Which is wild because, and I can't stress this enough, that schedule was never designed around your health, it was designed around factory shift changes, colonial labor management, productivity extraction. Your bedtime was literally set by 19th century factory bosses who needed you on the floor at 6 a.m. And here's nobody told you about. The Stone Age programming, it's still running right now inside your body this second. Your body has a circadian clock, a 24-hour internal timer that is literally baked into your genetics, controlled by genes called clock, BML1, part 1, part 2, part 3. These are ancient genes. Some of them are shared with fruit flies. We are talking about evolutionary heritage that is hundreds of millions of years old, and every single one of those genes is calibrated to one thing: sunlight. Your brain has a region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN, and its the entire job is to detect light and sense your body clock to it. Morning light hits your eyes, the SNC fires, cortisol goes up, body temperature rises, you wake up. Darkness falls, melatonin floods in, body temperature drops, you go down. That's the system. That has always been the system. So what happens when you take that system, a system built for 300,000 years to run on sunrise and sunset, and you blast it with blue light from a phone screen at 11:30 p.m., you literally trick your ancient brain into thinking the sun is still up. The SCN gets confused, melatonin gets suppressed, your body doesn't know it's supposed to be winding down. You stay wired, you scroll, you say okay just 5 minutes more for 2 hours, and then you crash at 1 a.m. and your alarm goes off at 7 and you feel like death every single morning. And here's the proof that this isn't just a theory. In 1962, a French geologist named Michael Chevreul went in 2 months alone underground in a cave. No clock, no sunlight, no phone, no way to track time. He just lived by how his body felt. And what happened? His body naturally settled into a sleep cycle that was almost exactly aligned with 24-hour rhythm, not 16 hours wake, not random chaos, a clean biological rhythm running on its own, no external cues, just the internal clock doing what it was built to do. A 2019 study from the University of Colorado took participants camping, no artificial lights, no electricity, no screens. After just 1 weekend, their melatonin onset shifted almost 2 hours earlier. 1 weekend, 2 days of natural light. And their bodies started resetting backward towards the Stone Age rhythm they were built for. 2 days. Imagine what happens if you actually commit to it. Remove the phone, remove the TV, remove the artificial light, go to sleep when it gets dark. Wake up with the sun. Within days, your body starts reverting back to what it was always been. Because it was never broken, it was never confused, it was just being overridden every night by your devices, by your schedule, by a system that was designed 200 years ago to make someone else money. So here's what this all means. You are not broken, you are not lazy. You do not have a sleep disorder just because you can't fall asleep at 11 p.m. and wake up at 7 feeling fresh. You have a 300,000 years old body that was built to sleep with the sun, and you are running it on a schedule invented by factory bosses in 1820 in England. That's the mismatch. That's the whole problem. Your ancient ancestors, those Stone Age humans sleeping on the grass platform in East Africa, they weren't fighting their sleep. They weren't dreading mornings. They weren't chugging coffee just to feel human. They were perfectly synced to the most powerful timer in existence, the sun, and deep in your DNA. Right now, your body is still trying to do same thing, still trying to sync up, still trying to run that ancient program. You're just drawing it out with screens and artificial and schedules that were never built for you. So next time you are lying awake at 1 a.m. doom scrolling, wondering why your brain won't shut off, just remember, you are not a broken modern human. You are a perfectly functional Stone Age human living in the wrong century schedule. The code is still in there, and the question is whether you are gonna let it run, drop the phone, catch the sunrise, and maybe, just maybe, give your 300,000 years old body to sleep it was actually built for.